Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My daughter is madly in love with a severe epileptic.
She's trying to care for her boyfriend.
You told him to cut his medication in half?
I was just trying to help. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you don't.
And the child they had together.
You have seizures a lot, right?
I had one last night.
He can't be a father to Hayden when he can't take care of himself.
But you want to have 2 more children with him. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, Kelly is desperate for my help in convincing her daughter, Amanda, that her boyfriend, Dylan, will never be a good husband or father to their son, and that she should just move on. But Amanda says she loves everything about Dylan, from his eyes to his southern charm, and knows that he loves her too when he holds her tight during one of his seizures. Now, Kelly says there is nothing romantic about Dylan's condition and thinks he is irresponsible because he refuses to take his medications, he refuses to manage his disorder, and, quote, has the mental capabilities of a 12-year-old. Take a look.
My daughter Amanda is madly in love with Dylan. Unfortunately, he is a severe epileptic. The problem is he doesn't keep his epilepsy under control.
Dylan, you gotta calm down.
Dylan, please. I'm sure that he's had up to 400 seizures. I probably called the paramedics 50 times this past year.
You gotta go.
When the medical personnel are trying to attend to him, he gets volatile and violent.
I'm not going to the hospital. Okay, then.
I've taken over the role of being guardian for Dylan. I'm the only one willing to do it.
Dylan will call my daughter 5, 6, 7 times a day. Amanda feels she doesn't pick up the phone. That might be the last time she talks to him. Amanda cannot be responsible for saving Dylan's life. She's just 20 years old. It's too much pressure on a young girl.
The first time I ever saw Dylan have a seizure in 2015, he just sits up with his eyes open. He just starts, like, his whole body convulsing like this, and like almost like foaming at the mouth, like a full grand mal seizure. And all of a sudden he just stops. And that's when he just grabbed me, like lovingly, and like held me close to him, like he didn't want to let me go. It was the exact moment that I knew that I wanted to be with him, and I was the most important thing. That time, he was the most attractive guy I've ever seen. To me, it looks like he could be related to Leonardo DiCaprio. I just immediately physically fell in love with him.
To make matters worse, they have a lovely 3-year-old son, Hayden. I feel I'm partially to blame. I allowed Dylan to come into our house and stay on our couch. Within 2 weeks, it seems like she was pregnant. I mean, it was fast. They talk about getting married and being a family.
There's nothing more that I want than to be mom and dad.
Neither one of them is in a position to take care of themselves, let alone take care of a child.
It's like, Mom, I get it. Let me be an adult.
Amanda needs to move on. Amanda needs to be with a person that can help her co-parent, not somebody that she has to be a parent to.
Okay, now let me be very clear about something here. You're not judging Dylan as being an adequate, inferior, or an unfit companion for your daughter because he's an epileptic.
Oh, no, not at all.
That's not the issue.
No. My issue is that Dylan doesn't take his medication. His epilepsy could be maintained, it could be controlled, he could live a productive life, but he chooses not to follow doctor's orders. Case in point, he was in the emergency room yesterday, and not only was Dylan, my daughter was a patient in the emergency room yesterday.
Why were you a patient yesterday?
Well, I have a history of ulcers that I've had since I've been with Dylan.
Okay.
And when I was at the ER with him, I started violently getting sick, and they said, we're going to check you in.
His mismanagement or failure to manage is affecting you because you're taking it on.
Yeah.
And how old is he?
He's 25, but he honestly...
He's not a 25-year-old,
He operates on a 15-year-old level.
Why?
Because of all the brain damage from all the seizures, he constantly hits his head.
He doesn't remember days of his life. And I think that's why he doesn't take his medicine, because when you say, did you take your medicine, Dylan? And he'll think back, and he'll probably see a picture of himself taking medicine, but that was a week ago.
You're in my wheelhouse now because I have worked with this population for years. For years. So I'm hearing a lot of what you guys are telling me that I've heard time and time and time again, and it sounds to me like nothing but a bunch of excuses. You told him to cut his medication in half because he doesn't like the way it makes him feel?
Yes. Because I was watching him take his pills 3 times a day, and I was consecutively watching him, and he was still having grand mal seizures. I was just trying to help. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you don't. There is a medical regimen in place by somebody that knows the entire history of a patient, and then they get somebody that just decides, oh, I think that's wrong, you should just change that. And you have what medical training?
I have none.
None. So you just decide he's not complying with the medical regimen he has, and then you decide to just change it.
That's not how it happened, though.
I'm not talking to you
I'm
yet.
sorry.
You weren't there. So you're telling him to change it. I just want to be sure I'm clear on what I'm going to be talking to him about.
Yeah, that's...
You mean well. I'm not suggesting you don't mean well. You're not trying to sabotage him, although you are sabotaging him. So you then move him in. He sleeps on your couch?
No. In the very, very beginning, when we...
And how old were you when this happened?
I was 17.
And he got her pregnant?
Yes.
While sleeping on your couch?
Yes. I guess he wasn't sleeping on the couch. I'm sorry, but no, in that situation, my husband was out of town, and I literally, honestly, I took them with us out of town, and I think that when we were out of town in that hotel is when they ended up together.
Ended up together. I hate it when that happens. So you were staying in a motel room together, the 3 of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're having sex with him in the motel room with your mother?
She was asleep.
She was asleep?
I mean, I tried. Honestly, Dr.
Well, God,
Phil,
I hope so. I hope
there's
you
not
were
much
asleep.
more I can do. Like, I brought him with her. I didn't leave her alone with them. You know, I don't know what more I could do. I was in the room with them.
How's that working for you?
I've got a beautiful grandchild.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and so you have a beautiful 3-year-old son.
Yes, I know the mistakes I've made, and I take responsibility for my mistakes.
So, is he also taking recreational drugs? Is he doing recreational drugs?
As far as I know, he just smokes marijuana.
So that's a yes.
Yes, I'm just saying out of all, it's only marijuana, yes.
Would you say he has an impulse control issue?
I would say yes.
So lack of maturity in that regard.
Yeah.
If he has impulse control in that regard, does he also have an impulse control in other aspects?
I think so. I think
such as?
Like, he gets very quick to anger. And like when he hears something that doesn't sit well with him, instead of trying to talk or say, you know, I don't like that, he just likes to cut people out and say, no, I'm leaving, and walk off. And
how about other girls?
We don't have any problems with other girls. Like any.
I thought he'd seen his ex-girlfriend while he was seeing you.
That was while I was pregnant with Hayden. And
well, there was that.
Yeah. That was the only problem. It was just one girl. You said girls, it was just one girl. And we've had no problems with any other girls.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
He accuses me of cheating on him all the time.
No, I'm just saying that Dylan, he might be 25 years old, but he doesn't understand what's happening to him. He's like a child. He's no different than Hayden. He can't be a father to Hayden when he can't make sure he's fed. Dylan can't take care of himself.
Well, Amanda says she wants 2 more children with Dylan. But he never even made it to her last baby shower. So we're going to talk about what she sees in him that makes her think he's a good candidate for fatherhood 2 more times. We'll be right back.
The first time I ever saw Dylan have a seizure, it was right before we conceived Hayden. I met Dylan February 24th, and I got pregnant March 5th. I was 17 and he was 22. He wasn't elated, but he accepted it and said he wanted to be a part of the baby's life.
A week and a half after Dylan said that he walked away and didn't come back for over a week and a half. As far as I know, he was with his ex-girlfriend.
Tomorrow, she claims her son wants her dead.
You believe that she is going to gun your children down.
I'm not bothering your kids.
It's affecting my kids, so beat it.
Then, it's Oprah Winfrey.
Are we rolling?
From fame
I am the same person I was. My feet are still on the ground. I'm just wearing better shoes.
to friendship.
The worst thing you've ever said to me, do you know what it is?
What did I say?
That's tomorrow. Then on Wednesday,
Jessica drinks and drives.
no child should have to see
When did you give her black eyes?
what they've seen.
We are trying our best.
If that's your best, it's game over.
That's Wednesday.
Kelly says her daughter, Amanda, is madly in love with a young man that is a severe epileptic. She says she has no problem with that. Her issue is that he refuses to take his medications and as a result has seizures very frequently, sometimes daily. In fact, yesterday he ended up in the hospital here when he came in to talk with me. But Amanda says Dylan is the love of her life. She would do anything to help him.
The problem is that Dylan does not take his medication.
He says it makes him feel weird. It is a conscious decision, but I do believe there are those times that he thinks he's taken his medicine and he hasn't. Dylan's seizures were bad early this year. The last 6 months, they have been a lot better because I used to FaceTime him every night so that I could make sure he took his medicine. The only reason it stopped working was because he stopped calling me. I would try and call him and he would text me and say, yeah, I took my pills. But beyond that, there's nothing I can do.
I get very frustrated. For 5 months, she would watch him swallow his pills, and he was doing great. He didn't have a seizure. He was spending time with his son. They would go out and do things together. He got part-time jobs.
Dylan is definitely crying out because he's hurt and scared on the inside. He puts on a front. He's a very strong, manly man, but inside, I believe he's just a hurt child.
Well, before we go further and talk about how he does feel inside, I want to add someone else to the conversation. Dylan's sister, Brittany. Take a look.
Since I've known Dylan, he has had well over 50 seizures. When Dylan was 16, I started to see a change in his behavior. Poor hygiene, hanging out with the wrong crowd, issues with authority. Dylan has had trouble in accepting his epilepsy as an illness that needs to be treated long-term. Last year, there was a couple episodes where Dylan got very irritable, very angry. Dylan was way more aggressive than usual. I just decided to create a loving distance. Dylan lives in a home that I would not personally live in. I have told Amanda it is not safe for her to go over there with Hayden. It's a huge risk factor for me and a red flag. I know that Dylan will probably be a little upset with me for telling Amanda that she should move on, but I think it's best for Hayden. My concern for Dylan is that he does not love himself enough, therefore he is not capable of loving Amanda and Hayden. Amanda's old enough to make her own decisions of who she wants to be with, but Hayden's not.
Well, Brittany, thank you for joining us, and I wanted to add you to the conversation right now because Amanda had just talked about the fact that Dylan has a lot going on inside, and he has anger and issues inside, and I know that you feel like he can't give away what he doesn't have, and he doesn't love himself enough to really love and value anybody else. So you believe she should move on from your brother and protect her son.
Absolutely.
You say his living conditions aren't healthy.
Right.
What you've been there?
Yes, sir.
And you go there?
Yes, sir.
And you take your son there?
Not anymore.
Okay, why do you say they're not healthy? What is it? What do we find when we open that door?
The main thing that's not healthy for anybody to be around is the lifestyle that's being lived in and out of that house. It's basically become a flop house because Dylan is a very lonely person and he puts himself around people that are lower than what his standards should be to be around. And also there are major home repairs that have been needed to be done for almost a year now, and he's received no help with that.
He can't lock his doors because his doors are broken because they've been broken into so many times. He told me last night that he's now sleeps on his couch because he has to be prepared to fight someone when they try and break in.
Dylan is so lonely, and he is on disability. He can't work, he can't drive. I mean, he gets disability.
Yes, he can. All he has to do is comply with the treatment protocols.
But we can't.
And then he can.
That's why we're here.
He
I
can
don't
do
know
all
how
of
to
that.
make him do it. We don't understand
You
how
say the walls are covered in mold?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they're caving in?
Yes, sir. He fell through his closet floor before trying to get dressed.
So you think it's not safe?
It's not a safe place for us.
So you've quit taking him over there?
Yes.
But you want to have 2 more children with him?
No, I want a future with him.
You shouldn't be with him. You need to get on with your life.
Right.
I just can't leave him. I don't want anything bad to happen to him.
Look, I understand if you love somebody, you love somebody.
But I'm smart, and I know that
you
I
don't
can't.
want to just turn around and walk away from him. I get that, but by the same token, you have to be willing to require of somebody everything they're capable of doing. Right. Well, coming up, Dylan kept telling my producers he only wanted to talk to me. So here I am. So we'll see if he comes out here and talks to me. He says he's nervous. I understand. We'll see if he wants the help. We'll be right back.
Want to be a grown-up father to my son and raise my son. And I also want to be able to get my medical condition right. Every time I get someone to tell me they're going to end up helping me, it never ends up happening.
I know Dylan loves Hayden more than anything and would do anything for him, but he hasn't really done much. Dylan has bought Hayden a couple shirts, a couple toys here and there.
He doesn't have any comprehension that being a father is 24/7.
Dylan is not capable of running his own life, and he is not capable in being a father to his son.
He can't be alone with his son because of his uncontrollable seizures.
I technically would be breaking the law if I let him be alone with Hayden.
Well, Dylan came to L.A. saying that he only wanted to speak with me. So when our producers sat down with him, he wasn't really very cooperative. It took a long time to get even a couple of minutes of coherent conversation. Take a look.
I heard that Dr. Phil was going to be able to do something for my seizures and my epilepsy that I've been having to deal with since I was 18 months old. I'm not used to handouts. I'm used to having to do everything by myself and take care of myself and take care of my son and help Amanda.
This isn't a handout, this is help.
Want to be a grown-up father to my son and raise my son. And I also want to be able to get my medical condition right. I just haven't seen real nice things come towards me lately besides what's been going on with this Dr. Phil show. Every time I get someone to tell me they're going to end up helping me, and it never ends up happening.
Has anyone ever flown you cross country before to help you? That's what these people are doing for us, Dylan.
Can't wait to see you, Dr. Phil. Hopefully you can do something for me. I would really appreciate that. I've been having to deal with a lot my whole life. I know I got some type of brain condition. It messed up my brain. Can't have a normal life. I would like to get that fixed. Hopefully you can do that for me. Can't wait to see you. Hope you have a good rest of the day.
Well, Dylan, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
How's everything going today?
Doing all right.
Yeah? You have a son, Hayden, who's 3?
Yes, sir.
And tell me about Hayden.
don't get to really see him that much.
There's a picture of him here.
Yeah.
Good-looking boy. Has he shown any signs of any epilepsy, anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay, so far so good on that regard.
So far so good.
Yeah. You have seizures a lot, right? How often are you having seizure activity?
I had one last night.
Yeah. And how often do you have them?
Lately, probably 2 to 3 times a week.
We have the medications to stop this almost entirely, if not entirely. These are neurological storms. They're electrical storms in the brain. And we have the anti-seizure medication to eliminate this from your life where you don't have these at all. Why aren't you doing that?
I guess my neurologist did. I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. For a little bit, I wasn't taking my medicine as needed to at first. I stopped taking it, and I thought I would be fine just not taking my medicine. Then I started having seizures more. So I started taking my medicine on a regular basis from now on. So, but I don't know. I've been to a lot of different doctors and tried to go get help, and it has never worked, never helped me out.
Well, in order for it to work, like I say, I've done this a lot. I've worked with you so many times you can't even imagine. This isn't a Rubik's Cube. This isn't a hard puzzle to solve. You don't need a brain scan. You don't need a whole bunch of tests. You need to do one thing, and that is comply with a well-researched, well-defined medical regimen. And when you do that, you can eliminate these. And when you eliminate this from your life, then you start to move on to other things, like getting your driver's license, being able to be with your son every day, starting a career, building a life, all the things that are ground to a halt when seizures dominate your life. All of that stuff that's on hold gets back into the flow when you do that. But you have to do one thing, and that's comply with the medical regimen, not some of the time, but all of the time. Dylan's parents, Rita and Harry, are on the phone from Florida. They both say they have prepared themselves to one day get the call that every parent fears. Harry, Rita, thank you for joining us. You know, Dylan is saying that he feels like both of you have distanced yourself from him. Is that true or false? Is it just his perception, or is it reality?
Well, I would say from my perspective, that's very true. I think his mother is the opposite. She has been involved, but you know everything you just said, Dr. Phil, in the last 10 minutes is, from my perspective, exactly what I wish could happen, and that is
Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up, I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. The pain makes it real. I don't wanna feel, I just wanna kill the bad thoughts and steal a good thought and feel. I'm just lost, I feel, I'm just lost to feel. I need time to heal, I can't steer the wheel. Cause this drive to heal, and it gives me chills. A nice road it feels, I slip off the peel and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal? I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go.
Dylan has said that he's been to neurologists throughout his life. The problem is, and we are going and have been going for 7 years since he's been an adult, to a very well-known doctor that has countless times tried to prescribe different medications to Dylan. The problem is this. Dylan will start on it for a day or two, or maybe even sometimes a week. And then Dylan will wander off. He'll forget to do it. And Dr. Phil, as you know, these are drugs that you can't miss doses. And then it winds up to missing a day, to missing 2 days, to, okay, that drug wasn't doing any good. Me and his mother truly love him with all our heart. And it got to the point, Dr. Phil, where I was watching my son die in front of me. And I couldn't take it anymore through me trying to be there for him every day over the last 10 years to me practicing tough love. I feel like I've tried everything, and his lifestyle has gotten so bad, it would just break my heart to leave his house or leave him, knowing that every time the phone rang, every time somebody knocked on the door, the next one was going to be the police telling me your son has passed.
You're confirming what my fear is, that we're dealing with non-compliance here. And look, these medications are not something you start and stop. They have to get up to a therapeutic level in the blood, then they have to be maintained at that level, and then you move on. But you don't fluctuate. You don't take them, not take them, then start again, on again, off again. These are not yo-yo drugs. This is not a guessing game. Rita, you say you've been free for 10 years from having a seizure, correct?
Dr. Phil, actually 20 years I have not had a seizure, and yes, and they had to try a couple of different medications and then did find the one that works for me. And there's also other, aside from the medication, there are boundaries too. I mean, there, as far as, sleep and stress and other triggers that can also, cause what they call breakthrough seizures. But I know my limitations, and I've tried to talk to Dylan countless times in his adult life about, that we have that in common, and I take my medication, I can drive, I can lead a productive life, a normal life, and there is some anger towards me about, I believe in my heart, about him having this condition, and he has mentioned numerous times that he doesn't like having it.
Well, of course you don't like having it. Well, Dylan, let me ask you about what she's saying. I mean, have you been just blatantly defiant about taking your medication?
Yeah, because I used to take my medicine all the time, and then it'd make me mad out of nowhere sometimes, or just real angry.
Let me take a break, and I want to come back. I want to add somebody else to the conversation, and then I want to talk about how you and I, this is workable. This is workable. We'll be right back. I've asked my good friend, Mike Baer, to join me. And the reason I wanted Coach Mike here is he's one of the preeminent life coaches in the country and has a team of life coaches. And he has written a book about this, actually, called Best Self, Be You Only Better. And it really teaches you how to be your own life coach by adapting his skills. And what this does, it does not assume that you're mentally ill. It does not assume that you have anything like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder. It assumes that you need to change behaviors and behave your way to health. And this can involve nutrition, exercise, all aspects of life. And he has developmentally stopped. That can change, correct?
That can change. And, it's about you being your best self and living your best life. And right now, my guess is you would not believe you're living your best life, right?
Not at the moment, no, sir.
And you believe you deserve a better life?
Yeah, I feel like I need to do a little bit better for myself. And
your
things have come along.
And your son deserves to have a dad.
I don't get my son taken to me or get to see him that much.
We're going to change that.
We're going to change that. And so what we want to do is help you become the dad who you truly are. Not the dad who you become because of what's going on in your life. It's being the best version of being a dad, which you want to be. And this, like Dr. Phil says, this is fixable. It's about how do you behave yourself out of this. It is where you're a part of the treatment team, and we're communicating with you, and we're looking at your home environment and getting your home environment in a place that's not triggering for you. It's about getting people out of your life socially that are interfering with your wellness. It's about you starting to even go to the gym, starting to get out, starting to have activity, starting to get a job, starting to make money, right? Like, how does that sound?
That sounds good.
And we can do that.
Here's what we're saying. My plan is I want to get you a nutritionist. I want to get you an exercise physiologist. I want to get you a life coach. I want to get a dialogue going with your neurologist to get you to make sure that everything is happening in the right way. Get this life coach that will work out to start figuring out what you want to do a year from now, 5 years from now, what career. Get your driver's license back, get you where you're seeing your son every day. I'm going to start by bringing somebody in to clean your house up. And I mean, get rid of the mold, put the locks on the doors, fix the caved-in walls, fix the floors, let's get your house where it's a nice, safe place for your son to come and spend the night with you, hang out with you. Let's start with that, okay? We'll do that, but you've got to decide that you're going to be part of this team. I'm on the team, Mike's on the team, the coach is on the team, Niraji's on the team.
Today.
Today is exactly right. Kelly wants Amanda to be free of responsibilities for caring for Dylan. Is that a possibility? Damn straight. We're going to talk about how when we come back. You say you're concerned about your daughter. You should be concerned about your daughter. Your daughter should be concerned about your daughter. You should be concerned about Amanda. And there's an interesting dynamic to this relationship. And this is an outdated version of this, but it is really a very simple way to look at it. You know, there's something called transactional analysis, and you can really think about it this way. Relationships occur on 3 different levels. There's parent, adult, and child. And whenever you have a healthy relationship, particularly between a couple, then what you have is you have adult to adult, okay? That's where both people are taking responsibility for themselves. Both of them are contributing to a relationship. That's not what you two have. What you two have is a parent-child relationship. You're taking care of him like you're his mother. That doesn't work. Who wants to go crawl in bed with their mother? That kind of takes the romance out of a relationship, right? You don't want that kind of relationship. It's making you sick because you're holding yourself responsible for things you do not control. That will make anybody sick. So you want an adult-to-adult relationship, and you are getting in the way.
Okay.
And by the way, it's not working either, is it?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Okay, so you're fired. Yeah, it's time to man up, step up, get this disease out of your life. It has to be managed, not cured, but it can be managed. Look, I'm a diabetic, and I was diagnosed, what was it, Robin, 35, 40 years ago? At least, and so, you know, when you're a diabetic, they say all sorts of things are supposed to happen. I'm not even on insulin. I just control it with diet and exercise. It is zero effect in my life because I do the things I have to control it. It's not even a factor. That's what I want to happen with you. Let's get him back into his life. Let's get him back into a career. Let's get his driver's license, a car. Let's get everything set up like we need to. And we're going to start by getting you in compliance with a medical regimen, getting your dwelling cleaned up so you have a place for your son to call home. I want him to have a room set up there that's his, decorated for him, where he knows this is his home with his dad. Everything right, where it feels good. And you have a reason to comply. You have a reason to comply, and everything is going to look a whole lot different to you in a very short period of time if you'll work with us on this. Will you do that?
I can do that for sure.
Because I'm going to step up and do it. Fair enough? All right, good deal.
Thank
you. All right. Rita, Harry, does this make sense to you guys?
Absolutely. I couldn't be more thrilled. Thank you so much, Dr. Phil. I feel like I'm getting my son back.
All right. Coming up, my next guest spent 2 years and thousands of dollars looking for her fountain of youth. Did she find it? Well, we're going to meet her next and find out. Like many women, my next guest, Eve, wanted the wrinkles on her face to disappear. So for 2 years, she had fillers and Botox. Then she decided the needles, downtime, and the expense were just too much. Eve wanted an alternative to help her skin and not hurt her wallet. Take a look.
We have 2 gorgeous daughters, 19 and 21. What's going on?
I just finished a midterm today.
Now that my girls are away at college, I'm an empty nester and I just want to focus more time on myself. I'm a California girl, so in my younger days, I loved sunbathing. That would progress to indoor tanning several times a week. Once you start it, you literally can't stop. You are addicted to being this golden brown, beautiful color. It was important to look young and youthful. Now I'm paying the price for all the sunbathing and tanning that I've done. I can really see wrinkles on my forehead that are becoming deeper. I try to always look my best, so to keep up with my appearance, I have gone to the extreme of trying Botox, and I've loved it. It's just too pricey to keep up. I would love to find a product that would minimize or eliminate the wrinkles to my forehead and be less costly than the Botox. I hope making improvements in my skin will help motivate my daughters to take better care of their skin. I don't want them to suffer the consequences like me.
Well, joining me along with Eve is dermatologist and spokesperson for beauty brand number 7, Dr. Sonia Batra. Thank you for being here. Eve, what was the last straw for you that made you say, that's it, Botox, I don't know?
Well, as I began to age, I started to notice the wrinkles, especially in my forehead. They began to get deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of research and I consulted with my dermatologist and I decided to give it a try.
Yeah. So you did it.
I did
and
it.
And when you stopped Botox, you were worried about the wrinkles coming back, right?
Oh, absolutely. Of course I knew it was inevitable, but when you've got 2 girls in college, you know that your money is best spent on their education. Yeah. So I started doing a little bit of research and wanted to find maybe another alternative.
Yeah, because Botox is expensive.
Absolutely, yes.
And painful?
It is. I really didn't like the needles.
Yeah,
no.
You didn't like the needles, you didn't like the expense. And
Exactly.
so you said, I want an alternative. So,
right.
Dr. Batra, injectables can be expensive, and they are invasive, of course. So what is a good alternative?
Well, this is actually a question many patients ask me. And Eve, there is an at-home product solution I recommend. It's No. 7 Laboratories Line Correcting Booster Serum. Similar to an injectable, it's a targeted treatment you apply directly to your deep wrinkles. And the results are backed by science. It's been clinically proven to help you look up to 5 years younger in just 12 weeks.
Wow.
So how does that sound? No needle, no...
Yeah. That sounds great. I would absolutely love to look 5 years younger.
Yeah, wouldn't we all?
For even better results, I suggest you use the Line Correcting Booster along with an all-over serum, like No. 7's Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced Serum.
So how much better are the results when you use the 2 of them together?
In a user trial, 83% of women who used the booster and serum together said they saw their best ever age-defying results.
So now that you know about these great No. 7 products, do you think you'll go back to injectables, or do you think you'll stay with these?
Well, I can't imagine why I would. If I could actually achieve the same results and I don't have to undergo needles, I mean, why would I go back?
Yeah, and they are more affordable. The No. 7 Laboratories Line Correcting Booster Serum and the Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced Serum are both available at Target for less than $42. But right now, you can get $3 off at Target.com with the promo code 3SERUM. But for you, Eve, No. 7 is getting you started with an entire year's supply of both.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
There you go.
I can use that.
Yeah. That's great. And audience, you're all going home with both of the No. 7 booster treatment and the serum. So I'd like to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Dr. Sonia Batra. If you'd like to be part of our studio audience, the tickets are free, and Robin and I would love to have you join us. All the information is on drphil.com, and be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and also check us out on Facebook as well. And you know what else is free? That's my podcast, Fill in the Blanks. That's PHIL in the blanks. Each episode features my conversations with celebrities and other very interesting folks. And don't miss my ongoing series called Living by Design. You'll learn so much about what I like to call your strategy for living your life. My podcast is designed to be enlightening and entertaining. And once again, it's free. Just hit the subscribe button. We'll see you at Fill in the Blanks. Thanks for being here.